Hi, I'm Jack Irvin, Vice President of Public Policy for Ohio Farm Bureau. I'm out here in Salt Lake City, Utah for the 105th annual meeting for the American Farm Bureau Federation. Just proud to be here, honored, humbled to have the opportunity to catch up with you and kind of fill you in on a lot of the policy discussions that took place this week and all the impact that you have been having throughout this process. So we talk a lot how Farm Bureau is a grassroots organization, and this right here is kind of the culmination of our policy development process, where we see those policies that you submitted from your county Farm Bureau that worked up their way through Ohio and then have now been accepted here at American Farm Bureau. One amazing example of that is in the artificial intelligence space. So American Farm Bureau came out and recognized that as an industry, as an organization, we really don't have a lot of policy. This is new technology that's starting to rapidly progress and move forward. So as an industry, what policy do we want to have that kind of help guide us as we look at legislative solutions and different issues that could be coming down the pike for us? So we've got a trustee here in Ohio that has a lot of IT background and frankly kind of took the bull by the horns and wrote a significant policy. I'm talking pages of policy, and we got that accepted here at American Farm Bureau this week. So proud to see stuff like that. Of course, we talked about other major issues like labor and the impact some of those different federal programs and rules and regulations have, and how organizationally we can work better. Certainly Ohio was out pressing for that issue as well. Farmland preservation. I think that is a topic we continually to wrestle with, whether we're talking, development from housing or warehouses or solar issues or, any number of things. Obviously, Ohio has experienced a lot of economic growth, and we're seeing a lot of impact. So what is that going to do to our industry longer term? And so some of those concerns and issues we wanted to lift up also at the federal level, and we're very successful in getting some policies put forth in that space, whether it's doing a better job of tracking those land use changes and what is happening to the ground, what is the overall impact to our industry, and then some of the broader discussions on foreign ownership and the impact on foreign ownership of whether it's the agribusiness or the actual real estate, the land itself. And so that's another major component of discussion for this week. Kind of dive in a little more down in the lower level kind of nitty-gritty issues. So you all in Ohio had raised some concerns and questions about, is the federal government, FFA specifically, keeping up with the trends and the changes in drones and drone use on our farms, and making sure they are staying relevant as an agency and organization, so that when you want to do some stuff on your farm with the drones, that you have the right tools and the right regulations to be able to do that and use that technology, but also be protected and have some rights and privacy at the same time. Again, on the farmland preservation side and some of the impacts on land use, kind of another subset of that, of course, is solar and green energy and all the issues we're seeing kind of that come along with it, whether it's development of new infrastructure, new transmission lines, et cetera. And that's certainly a piece that we pushed here at AFBF and want this organization to dive in, to really start to get into more details of that, of how we can look at that kind of holistically as a country, as an industry, and truly recognize the impacts that is having on our land. Farm Bill's just around the corner here. We're having debates on that. And one of the challenges that I know I hear personally a lot from a lot of you back home is some of those conservation programs. So CRP, the Conservation Reserve Program, for example, there's concern sometimes that maybe those rental rates are too high and not in line with kind of the county average rental rates, some of those market rates back home. And if you're trying to bid to maybe rent some piece of ground, and essentially you're bidding against the federal government, the taxpayer, that can maybe offer a lot higher rental rate than you could as a kind of competing producer, is that fair? Is that sound policy? So we've pushed that say that those programs should be more in line with the county averages, so it's more of a level playing field, and again, not kind of taking that competitive advantage away from you or even creating a competitive disadvantage. And then kind of looking longer term and and more national issues that we see. So Proposition 12 out in California, I think many of you know, passed some initiatives that really dictate and delineate different rules and regulations and structures of how you as a livestock producer could raise your animals if you want to sell into the California market. We're starting to see that in other states. So, you know, it's no secret that if we're going to have a patchwork of 50 different rules, that is going to make it very difficult as a country to raise and market and sell animals and to, you know, produce livestock efficiently in this country, and certainly in Ohio. So that is another area that we really want Farm Bureau to keep focused on, see if we can come up with some federal solutions so we're not having these interstate commerce issues where essentially one kind of major state like California is dictating policy and production for the whole country. So those are just some of the real major highlights. We're looking forward to kind of sharing more details of what happened here this week in Salt Lake City. Again, so blessed and privileged and honored to be here to help represent you, and looking forward to seeing you soon back in Ohio. Thanks again. I'm Jack Irvin with the Ohio Farm Bureau.